Welcome to Robotics and Automation News webinars, where you can be part of a global event without leaving your home or office. Attend our live webinars and communicate directly with influential professionals in your industry.
Hello, my name is Abdul Montakim. I'm editor of roboticsandautomationnews.com. In this interview, I talk to Patrick Moorehead, Chief Marketing Officer at a company called Pricefx, which could be described as a CPQ company. CPQ stands for Configure, Price, Quote, and basically it's a software platform that uses artificial intelligence to calculate a company's total costs in producing its goods, and then helps them decide what price each product should be.
My name is Patrick Moorehead. I am the Chief Marketing Officer at a company called Pricefx. Pricefx is a German-based global provider of cloud pricing optimization and management software. My role in the company is really to lead the global expansion of the company through brand marketing, public relations, industry relations, demand generation, and event marketing, with the goal of both establishing the Pricefx brand as a leader in the space that we compete in and enabling our sales organization to continue to grow revenue.
Right, and this, I'm looking at your website at the moment, and this acronym CPQ, I've come across it before. I've just briefly forgotten what it stands for, but if you could just explain, that might give us, the audience, an access point to what the industry, what the business is about.
Absolutely. CPQ, the acronym, stands for Configure, Price, and Quote Technology. It is one of the most established genres of pricing software technology, and it's a type of software that specifically deals with tools that enable sales and revenue organizations to compile or configure orders for customers on a one-to-one deal basis, to price those orders in line with rules and guidance from their organization, and quote those prices in line with the organization's policies, which usually include workflows to account for multiple stages of review between finance and legal, and in many cases now also include e-document delivery and e-signature, which enables those orders, once executed, to be logged automatically back into ERP, enterprise resource management systems. Today, there are more than 200 providers of CPQ software. They range in capabilities from really feature-rich, heavily integrated solutions from industry leaders like Salesforce, Oracle, and SAP, all the way down to discrete and bespoke CPQ solutions that are designed for the specific needs of certain industries. At Pricefx, we offer a CPQ solution in the form of a product called Quote Configurator. Our CPQ solution is different in that our focus is primarily on the pricing aspect of configure, price, quote. Most software solutions in the CPQ space are focused on the C, configure, which means how to organize a range of products or SKUs inside the context of a customer order, and on the queue functionality, which is how to streamline the quote approval and delivery and acceptance phase of the sales process. And in many cases, the pricing aspect of CPQ is diminished, is governed by sort of static and in some cases very rigid pricing rules and guidance setups inside organizations. Our innovation in the CPQ space has been around creating truly robust pricing optimization, pricing analytics, and price management that enable the pricing function to become a really powerful component in the delivery of CPQ technology.
What kind of customers or what kind of sectors do they come from? The people who come to your site and ask for your services. Maybe you can't name individual customers. That's why I'm saying sectors.
Yeah, it's a great question. One of the unique features of Pricefx as a tool is that we are in some ways vertical industry agnostic. Today, our customer portfolio includes more than 100 different logos globally, and it spans a wide range of industry sectors. Focus on anything from industrial manufacturing to food and beverage, high tech, packaging manufacturing, building materials, chemicals and chemical engineering, chemical manufacturing, diversified industrial manufacturing, e-commerce, auto parts aftermarket, transportation, retail, and e-commerce. We are a very flexible solution, and one of the unique aspects of Pricefx as a tool is that we're really able to deliver a high level of power and return on investment to almost any vertical industry that is looking to do better with their pricing intelligence, manage pricing better across their enterprise, and deliver ultimately a better pricing process to their customers.
Also, if I could just sort of, again, just ask basic questions to try and establish type of company and what you do. I'm looking at partners as well. The partners page, you say key partners are Salesforce and SAP. Bain, I think, is an investment company, but how does the technology of Salesforce or SAP, I mean, is there some sort of integration that you can explain to us that you have? What does the partnership mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. Pricefx is truly a connected platform for pricing optimization, management, and CPQ realization. When we talk about Pricefx platform, what it really means is that customers of Pricefx enjoy ready-made integrated access to their larger enterprise systems, including those from SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, and Salesforce. Any of the functionality that's offered by the Pricefx core product suite is able to be seamlessly plug and play integrated to any of those CRM or ERP systems. In the case of SAP, which is a great example, if you visit the SAP App Center, you will today find 3 discrete Pricefx applications that are available to SAP App Center customers. And those applications are customized versions of the core Pricefx software that then live natively within the SAP platform. Today, those applications revolve primarily around price optimization and algorithmic price setting. And those offerings within the SAP environment have proven to be very successful. We introduced them earlier in the year of 2019. And this year, due to our overwhelming success among SAP App Center customers, SAP has actually designated Pricefx as a gold partner in the App Center. We are the only gold partner of any category in the App Center and the only pricing software in a gold partner status. And they confer that status based on customer traction, meaning the number of customers that are using the application and the overall amount of revenue generated by the application for both Pricefx and SAP, which this year alone will be more than $2 million in paying customers subscribing to the Pricefx applications within the SAP environment. It's a very similar setup at Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics. What we know is that those CRM and ERP systems are widely adopted across a wide range of enterprises. And so we've taken great effort to pre-integrate with those platforms and make our solution very easy to implement for the organizations that are already using those platforms and want to, again, integrate a more dynamic and robust pricing capability alongside the other functionalities that they're using.
I'll give you a very simplistic example. If I make a gadget and it's cost me $1 to make 1 unit, then it kind of, in a traditional sense, in the old days, the way you price it is that you put whatever percentage markup you think is gonna, you're gonna be happy with, whether it's 50% or 100%, and so on. And where does it go from there? What does the algorithm, without maybe getting into the code level sort of explanation, but what kind of sophistication does it bring to that very basic traditional method of pricing?
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point. So first of all, that is a radically simplified view of pricing. I think depending on what industry you look at, there are a range of probably more than 8 to 10 factors that contribute to pricing any particular item or service that is provided. That it can include not only sort of the cost of manufacture, but that can also include sales and marketing costs on top of that. That can include costs to deliver the product to the marketplace. That anticipate some level of markup. That anticipate some level of discount. And ultimately the net pocket price of a product can be influenced by a lot of different factors, right? So uh, uh, in some ways, understanding the cost to manufacture something plus some level of margin, in some ways can underestimate the opportunity, but also can underestimate the actual cost factors that are driving a particular price. If you take, for example, a product that might be driven heavily off of commodity indexes to manufacture, so the global price of steel, for example, as the cost of steel as a material fluctuates, it can impact the cost to manufacture. It can, as the cost of fuel globally fluctuates, it can impact the cost of delivery for steel as a component in manufacturing. And I think companies increasingly are turning to software to sort of help manage and understand the complexity of all the contributing factors that go into their particular pricing rules and the way that they determine and set targets around profitability and margin. And so that is, in a nutshell, sort of why the pricing optimization and management sector of software, I think, is increasing in prominence. Is that in a global context, the way to understand the simple idea of how much does it cost us to make this contains a lot of complexity. But then when you consider not only how much does it cost to make this, but how much does it cost us to sell it, how much is someone willing to pay for it, to what extent do we offer discounts around it, to what extent do we then have to account for tax and tariff or international currency volatility. There's a wide range of factors that need to be managed before you can sort of simply understand how much will we make on the sale of a particular item or a particular service. So the goal of a software like Pricefx is to use the power of computing to manage that complexity and deliver it back to the end user in a very simplified, understandable way to get them to the insights that are going to enable them to make decisions about how to set pricing effectively so that their customers are receiving value and believe they're paying fairly for what they're getting, while also maintaining the growth objectives of the company that's providing the product or service.
So how does the system collect data to make decisions upon?
Yeah.
Obviously, a company within its own resources or systems, it will know its own accounts, what it's spending money on, and whether it's marketing or materials or whatever. But
Yes.
beyond that, what are the examples of how? I mean, you've given a great example of commodities markets. Obviously, you're dealing with very large companies, not individuals like me who might make a gadget for $1 or whatever. What are the other ways that a system collects data and
Yeah.
feeds it into the calculation?
The Pricefx platform has the ability to ingest almost any kind of data that might be useful in the pursuit of pricing profitably. That can include direct integrations with enterprise resource management systems. It can include direct integrations with customer relationship management systems, with financial data management systems. And in some cases, we have customers that are linking with external data sources as well. And the Pricefx platform can indeed make use of data sets that could include competitive pricing information that's scrubbed from the internet or derived from some third-party service that would look at not only the cost of and price of goods provided by the customer, but also what their competitors' costs and prices are. We have customers that are including all kinds of diverse data sets. In fact, one customer we talk about quite frequently is a company called Ticket Corner in Europe. And Ticket Corner is an online ski lift ticket brokerage service. And they've been very successful in using Pricefx to dynamically price ski lift tickets in advance of the day of travel, incorporating both slope conditions and weather forecasts into the way that they determine the optimal price to charge a customer for their trip to the mountain, based on factors of quality of weather, quality of snow, the amount of people that are going to be there that day, if it's a high volume, low volume day, if it's a holiday, et cetera, et cetera. Really, what's neat about Pricefx is that it's data omnivorous. It's able to sort of ingest really any kind of data that might be useful in determining a variable inside a price management scheme, and leverage that data into both insights and realization in the form of how then pricing gets delivered back to the end customer.
And what is a typical markup or profit margin for a company? It probably isn't a typical one. I mean, once all the costs are ingested, collated, evaluated, calculated, when you know for sure how much it's costing you to deliver a product to a customer, what's a typical markup? 10%, 20%, 100%?
I don't think there is a typical margin or typical markup. It really varies industry to industry and really customer by customer. Perhaps more revealing is what we tend to talk about when we encounter customers who have been approaching their pricing in sort of offline or what I would call analog or pre-internet strategies using Excel, or other sort of maybe more rudimentary technology to establish their price management approaches. Oftentimes it's difficult for companies to answer that question themselves, right? How reliably are we capturing our target margin on a deal by deal basis? Where are we losing margin in deals because we're offering too many discounts or too steep discounts to our customers? And maybe most importantly, how can we aim towards a more profitable deal configuration or a more profitable pricing strategy towards our product portfolio? Those are all questions that are very difficult to answer without a robust analytics and optimization technology to support it. And what we see at Pricefx is companies who adopt our solution and begin to capture that data and analyze it in a productive way are able to enhance their margin gains anywhere from 0.5% to, in some cases, as much as 3 and 5% over the first year that they have implemented the technology. And while those percentages might sound small, if you think about them in the context of companies that are doing multiple $billion of revenue a year, capturing a 1 or 2% profitability increase on $3 billion in revenue can be a pretty dramatic gain in the marketplace.
Okay, so you've mentioned some big numbers, and it's obviously quite tempting to ask what are the largest customers that you have? What are their turnovers? I mean, again, you don't have to name them, but give us an idea of the types of companies in terms of how big they are and how small they are.
Sure, happy to do that. Many of our customers are available to review on our website. Again, they span a wide variety of industries. One of our largest customers is Bosch, a European industrial company that does parts and appliances, and they have multiple business units that use Pricefx for price management. and pricing optimization. Tata Steel is another big global customer for us. That is one of the world's largest steel manufacturers and distributors. Um, in the retail sector, we have Media Markt, which is essentially the Best Buy of Europe. They're a large electronics retailer operating more than 2,000 stores and multiple e-commerce stores online. We help them manage and unify their pricing from digital to physical across all of their stores. Iron Mountain is a big global customer for us. They're an information management and document storage company. They offer a wide range of products and services that we continue to help them implement dynamic pricing and price optimization across their portfolio. Our smallest customers tend to be in the tens of millions of revenue a year. We can work with any company really of any size. But today, the sort of smaller end of our customers are in the $10 million to $50 million a year range. And on the upper end, we have customers that are doing tens of billions of dollars a year in annual turnover.
That's great, isn't it? It's an awful lot of money at both ends of the spectrum, your customer spectrum. Yeah, I keep thinking about this example of many years ago. I saw a documentary, and I think it was about a British company. I can't remember what it was called at the time, but it used to make the Mini car, which now is owned by BMW.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was a hugely successful car in terms of, lots of people liked it, lots of people bought it. Apparently, I could be wrong. I could be thinking about it. The documentary could have been about a completely different car, but apparently they made a loss on every unit. They didn't price it correctly. So even though they sold huge quantities, they didn't actually make money from it. Now, I was thinking that, can you think of examples where obviously back then in the 60s, they wouldn't have had computing systems like this using artificial intelligence to decide what the price should be of these cars. So, even now, a lot of people would use what you might call computer or non-AI methods for pricing. What are the kind of examples of mistakes or shortcomings of a traditional method that an AI system or this kind of CPQ system can resolve and help out with?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. We have done a couple of different pieces that you can see on our website that we call pricing fails, where we showcase some sort of blatant examples of products either missing the boat in pricing or mistakes in pricing. They happen, and I think that you're exactly right that the idea of price analytics and optimization is to avoid mispricing the product or service that you're providing to the detriment of the business that you're operating. Examples of where this happens a lot, I think, is in consumer packaged goods, where in many times the promotion that goes into driving volume for packaged goods can come at the cost of actual profitability for those transactions. You see this time and time again, where the promotional efforts of a sales team to drive volume, meaning moving a certain amount of packages off the shelf at a retailer through discounting and through special marketing, et cetera, where the investment in that promotion does in fact move a lot of volume, but the volume is not a profitable volume. And so while they are apparently selling a lot of units, they're not selling them profitably. And thus, when you balance out the amount of investment in promotion against the amount of revenue generated by the sales themselves, you find out that they actually lost money, even though they wound up boosting their volume in sales. I think that is particularly problematic in the consumer packaged goods industry, but I don't think it's isolated to the packaged goods industry. I think that There's a continuous sort of tug of war that goes on between what a sales group needs to do to keep their customers happy, to keep them engaged, to offer discounts and promotions, to maintain relationships with customers, and what the revenue and finance side of the organization would like to be true in terms of actual margin and profitability. The goal of price optimization in CPQ is really to automate that in the context of the sales cycle, so that in the case of a customer of Pricefx using both our price optimization and our CPQ technology, they would in the process of configuring an order for the customer be shown visually places where the prices that they were offering to that customer either violated rules and guidance from the organization or were going to cause them to give up margin unnecessarily, or places where the addition of products or the price increase on particular products could offset discounts in other places in the deal, or even in the best case, highlight areas where there was incremental profitability or incremental margin that could be captured from that customer based on historical data. Having the ability to see all of that information at your fingertips in the context of configuring a customer order in real time is a big piece of how customers at Pricefx capture those 1, 2, 3, 5% profitability gains when they implement the tool.
How are you positioned in the market in terms of how does your company, in terms of its revenue or size, compared to other similar CPQ companies? I don't know if I've seen a sort of top 10s or top 100 of this sector or anything like that. But give us an idea of what the lead, how you fit into the market.
Sure, happy to do that. I think the industry kind of breaks itself into two sections when it comes to solutions of our type. CPQ is often treated as a discrete sector of the pricing software industry. And then the pricing optimization and management capability is treated as sort of a separate sector of the pricing software industry. The reason that's important is twofold. One, the CPQ side of the industry is at this point very mature and correspondingly very crowded. There are multiple dozens, if not hundreds, of CPQ software solutions available in the market today. And in the context of that marketplace, we are in the top 10% of all solutions available. In fact, this year, 2019, we were included in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for CPQ. Gartner does an annual review of software providers in the certain genres that they cover. And this year, there were 16 providers included in Gartner's annual report that is available on our website at pricefx.com. And so to be one of 16 featured in Gartner's CPQ analysis in a field of more than 100 players signals that we are doing well in that particular area. By contrast, the field of play in the pricing optimization and management space is much smaller. There are probably only 10 or 15 companies in total that offer meaningful price optimization and management solutions to the marketplace today. And we believe that Pricefx is the #1 solution provider in pricing optimization and management. Now, we're biased because it's our company, but the market seems to agree with us, and that is why our company has been able to double revenue every year for 3 years. This year alone, we've added more than 30 new customers to the platform. And really what we've done in pricing optimization and management that's been unique is offered a solution that is 100% cloud-based, that comes with key advantages, mainly speed and flexibility. The fact that our software being entirely located in the cloud means that our implementation timelines are 1/10 of what our next best competitor can offer to a customer of their solution. Our typical implementation timeline for Pricefx can range from 18 to 20 weeks in time, and most of our competitors deal with implementation timelines that are 18 to 20 months in length. So our customers are rapidly able to start using the software and thus able to start capturing a return on that investment, often within the same year that they purchased the solution, which is very different than other price optimization and management providers. So I think that's a long way of answering your question to say, our key differentiator in both marketplaces is that we are 100% cloud native, and we offer a rapid time to value and a flexible solution that's easily customizable with a low total cost of ownership. In the CPQ space, we are in the top 10% of solutions available. And in pricing optimization and management, we're really number one and continuing to grow.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And finally, how do you see the next year, a few years for yourself, in terms of how you're going to develop and grow, in what ways, and how is the market changing out there? For example, in the manufacturing sector, I'm thinking things like mass customization, what they call greater. They're saying there's going to be more variety of products. Obviously, that means more problems for the accountants in terms of how to price the products. That seems to require, if you're having lots of people asking for lots of customizations, you're talking about a fairly complex pricing mechanism or method that's probably going to have to be automated through systems like yours. But anyway, what's your view of the trends and things that are happening, and how your business is going to I don't know, go with that over the next few years?
Thank you for that. It's a great question. I believe we're in a little bit of a renaissance when it comes to pricing in the industry today. It's a result of sort of continued globalization of the economy. It's a result of sort of the continued merging of physical and digital buying experiences. I believe that the rapid evolution of consumer engagement with e-commerce, and particularly around mobile buying behavior, is beginning to bleed over into the B2B world. It's easy to understand how we all are getting very used to the idea that you can order pretty much anything you want with a couple of clicks from your phone and have that delivered within a couple of days to your home. And then when we go to the office, we expect to have that same kind of buying experience. And that's new to the B2B world. And I think B2B sales and marketing and revenue organizations are really working hard to try to understand how to join towards that evolved multi-platform on-demand consumer experience that's becoming the new normal in the 21st century. To your point, I do think that product diversity is continuing to increase. I think that product manufacturing processes are continuing to change very fluidly. And I believe that all of that is coming to a head in the form of an elevated awareness among industry leaders, top executives across different industries, that pricing has to become a focus, and it has to become something where resources are deployed and where intelligent solutions are required in order to be successful. For a long time, I think pricing has been treated as a backroom function that was accomplished by very smart people that were in places in the organization that no one seemed to care much about. And that has to change in order to keep up with the new pace of global business. So I see pricing elevating in its profile, becoming more important to senior executives in all industries. And I think the capabilities that are coming along with that, with companies like Pricefx, create a very exciting road ahead. For us, in 2020, we're looking to launch several game-changing new products. We're looking at launching a co-branded product with Bain, who is not only an investor but a partner for Pricefx. This will be called Pricefx Plasma. It will be really the first big data analytics tool that provides industry-specific benchmarking and KPIs across a number of different vertical industries, using the collected pricing intelligence data from more than 20 or 30 different organizations around the world. Nothing has ever existed like this, and we're really excited about this. We also have a couple of innovations that we're going to launch next year that will make pricing software more accessible to more organizations by continuing to bring the best practices of software as a service uh, type business models into different industries that make the activation of pricing software and the utilization and deployment of pricing software easier and more accessible to more and more organizations. So our forecast is robust for the industry and for ourselves in 2020. Our goal is to continue to maintain the path of doubling the size of our business every year, and we'll continue to pursue that goal next year as we look to rapidly increase the amount of people on our team, increase our global footprint, and continue to innovate with our products as pricing becomes, again, a featured critical capability across a wide variety of industries. At the end of the day, pricing, I think, is and will remain a very complicated area of business. And our mission at Pricefx is to not remove the complexity, but simplify the access to that complexity to make pricing an accessible strategic lever for any organization. And the way we do that through our efforts is with brand values that we refer to as F words. We're big fans of F words, not the bad ones that you might think about. Our F words are fast, flexible, and friendly. And as a company, I think, it's really fun for me to be leading the marketing efforts of a company like Pricefx, because the company really does take seriously this idea of being a friendly company to work with, making these complex and difficult tools and challenges in business simple and easy for our customers, and being easy to do business with. We like to think that we're our favorite call of our customers' day at work, and we have enjoyed long relationships with most of our customers who could choose to leave at any time because we're a subscription-based service. And yet, very few, if any, customers ever leave once they join our family because of the power of our solution, but more importantly, the power of our friendly approach to their business. And so hopefully that's meaningful in this business in addition to all the math.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for your time and your answers and your insights.
Send us an email at sales@roboticsandautomationnews.com to register for one of our many upcoming webinars. And if you'd like us to host your webinar, we have a range of options, including long-term lead generation packages and marketing campaigns. We look forward to hearing from you soon.